Let's begin this session of yoga, especially to work through some of the pains that you may be experiencing from extended meditation, long periods of sitting, one after the other. So let's find a comfortable cross-legged seat. And I will mention here that chairs, we live in a chair ethos, a society with a chair ethos, meaning that we rely on chairs way too much. And this has become normalized in our culture, this culture of a chair. And it makes it difficult for us to sit on the ground for any extended period of time, because growing up we're not stretching those knees in ways that are conducive to sitting on the floor. So we need to do yoga. This is what yoga was developed for. It was developed to help yogis sit longer. And let's do it. Let's have our knees, if you can, have your knees touch the ground, just sitting without a cushion if you can. Have your knees touch the ground. See if you can get your feet parallel to each other, flat on the ground. If not, having the ankles crossed like so with one knee a little raised is okay too. All right? Either way is fine, but I'm just kind of encouraging to get both knees down. And if you can't, you can try creating more space between your knees, widening your knees a little bit here. All right, then we're just gonna lean towards one knee and push on the other knee. All right, so we're leaning our torso with the back lengthened, so we're not bending our back here, we're keeping the back tall. And we're leaning towards one knee and using the hand to push against the other knee or the thigh even. You might feel a little pull there in the hip. Right? And then coming back up and going down towards the other side. Right, you might feel this in the hip, also in the side of the body. Just listen to your body as far as determining how close you bring your torso to your knee. That's going to be different for all of us. All right. And then back up. All right, let's go down to the center. Down to the center. Now you might want to put your hands in front of you so you don't accidentally fall forward. Let's bring our hands forward and letting our head come down a little bit. As low as you can go, just feeling that stretch in the hips. Feeling that stretch in the hips as the head comes forward. The torso, the trunk, notice the trunk is still long, elongated, not rounding. Take the hump out of the back. No humpbacks. All right, stretching out and you can rock a little bit here if you want to. All right. Okay, coming back up. Let's make some circles now. Let's make some circles around our hips. You might feel this in your low back as well a little bit. And then when you're ready to go the other way, go ahead and pause and go the other direction. All right, good. Let's come back to center. Let's take the feet and put them together, the soles of the feet now. And we can clasp the hands around those toes and kind of situate ourselves. We want to come up on our sit bones there. And again, keep the back lengthened. Let the knees drape without force. Let gravity work on the knees, getting them down. You can wiggle a little bit to kind of emphasize the hips stretching here, the insides of the hips. right? Maybe bringing the body a little bit forward here, right? Coming over the feet a little bit. And then extending out the right leg. Let's start with the right leg first. The left foot comes on the inside of the right leg. And that right there is going to be a nice stretch for you, especially if you've been running. And that hamstring is going to be nice and tight. So let's just focus on where your tightness is being experienced. Right? How close you bring your head to your toes is less important than stopping at the point where you start to feel tension in the back of the leg. And that's where we want to stay. We want to stay with that feeling of tension there in the back of the leg and just be with it. Right? That being with that tension, that tightness, that sensation of pulling is where the stretch is. So it's going to be different for all of us. I can touch my toes. 10 years ago, this probably was not going to be an option for me, but today, no problem. So take your time. You don't have to force a stretch. The stretch is already there. If you can't touch your toes, it's because you're already stretching. You don't need to touch your toes. Right? The main thing is that you should be able to roll your shoulders very easily, right? We're not focusing on what's going on in our back. Here we're focusing on stretching the hamstring. And this is also so good for low back pain. Right, to stretch the hamstrings often addresses the low back pain. So we'll just stay here maybe another 20 seconds or so. It's kind of a passive stretch. We're using the gravity and our torso as a weight to pull on the hamstring muscle. Just make sure you take that hump out of your back. All right, let's come back up to stand or to sit and then transition to the other side. Ready? So first establish your upright posture. Right, this is really challenging, right? Just to sit on the floor with our back straight. Takes some practice, takes some work, especially in our culture that does not emphasize doing this. Right? Lifting the arms up, folding forward. Letting the arms down to the floor, your leg, or your toes. Any one of those three places is fine. To the floor, to your leg, or to your toes. Any one of those places can possibly be fine. Listen to your body. And if you want, if you really wanna, if you can't touch your toes and you want to, go for it. See, you could work on really stretching that hamstring out. I don't want to discourage you from pushing yourself, but I also don't want to encourage you to hurt yourself either. So it's a fine line there between pushing ourselves and overdoing it. I often get caught in that myself, so I'm not one I can't be one to tell you don't do something that you really want to do, even if it's overdoing it. You have to find that out for yourself. All right, good. Let's come back to the seat and we'll stretch out both the legs this time. You can use your hands now to prop up your back, just to get a sense of that upright posture. Right. Now we're going to bend our knees and slip the right foot under the left thigh and the left foot around the outside of the right thigh. Right. This is helpful. So it looks something like this. Right. Kind of hold on to your top leg here. And now we just split. So this is a stretch to the outside of the hip. And we're just focusing on gently leaning forward into that. Gently leaning forward into that stretch. This is almost a seated version of the figure 4 stretch, if you know what that is, where you're laying on your back. And just kind of leaning gently forward. And then coming back up. All right, and let's switch the legs around. So left foot coming under the right thigh, kind of by your right hip, or even your right butt cheek. Left leg wrapping around over top the left leg. The right leg over top the left. Right? And here, this time I've got my hands out to the side here, so this is another way to do this. Hands out to the side and just kind of, again, back straight and leaning forward over that. Yeah. Now, don't worry, if your knees don't come together like mine are coming together, some people's knees, you might have it like this. That's okay. You can do it like this. You can even do like stacking firewood, where you're one leg, one calf is on top of the other, and just begin to lean forward. So any of those versions will get at that hip. That's what we want to do, is get at that outside of the right hip. This is a really excellent stretch, by the way, that I think it's called the Taylor's stretch, where you stack like firewood, you're stacking your right calf on top of your left calf. A really nice stretch for Zazen. All right, good. Let's bring the feet up. We're gonna come up into a squat. So go ahead and lift your knees off the ground, and I'm gonna bring the hands in between the legs like so, digging the elbows into the thighs or the calves, and pressing them away, spreading the thighs away from each other. This is good. This is now addressing the insides of the hips, another way of stretching the insides of the hips. Okay, just a little bit longer. And just keep gently pressing the thighs outwards. A little bit more each time. All right. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and turn our bodies so that we can use the length of the mat. And step your right foot forward, left foot coming back, and uncurl the back toes. It's kind of a runner's stretch. And just let the weight of the body sink down to open the hips from this angle. Take some breaths here. See if you can work on lengthening the neck. Okay, and let's then lean back towards your back heel and lift your front toes up. Around, here's a chance to round your back and maybe straightening your front leg, your knee, going in that direction. Your head coming down towards your knee. All right, and then rocking forward, coming back into that lunge. Lifting the head, the chin, taking the hump out of the back. All right, then from here we're going to transition to pigeon. So we're going to slide the right foot towards the left side of the mat. in a comfortable, somewhere that's comfortable for your leg to rest. And let your knee, your right knee be comfortable here. And walking the hands up towards your hips and opening up your rib cage here for pigeon. You can even lift your chin if you want. If you want, you can lift your arms off of the ground. Lift your hands off of the ground so that you're balancing here. With pigeon, you can clasp your hands behind your back, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Right. If that doesn't work for you, just keep your hands on the ground and maybe even folding forward if you want. Okay, let's release out of that and slide. Excuse me. Slide the right foot back. We'll come into tabletop. Practice some cat-cow before going on to the other side. There's a nice one for the spine, warming up the back a little bit. Rounding the back up, rounding the back down. At your own pace, so you can experiment with the pace here. Alright, and then let's come into downward dog here for a little bit. You're stretching those calf muscles a little bit and letting the neck be loose. If you have a stiff neck, this is one way to address it. Just kind of let the head hang and shake it back and forth a little bit to help it to loosen up or to encourage that loosening in the neck, in the upper back. Pushing, we're really engaging our shoulders here more and not our upper back muscles, although they're closely connected. All right, but really loose through the neck, shoulders are engaged as the head comes between the arms, and we're stretching the calf muscles. Okay. All right, let's slide the left foot forward for that runner's lunge on the other side. So left foot coming forward now. Uncurl the back toes and just hold that here. Take some breaths. All right, and then leaning back, lifting up the toes, get a nice hamstring stretch. You can tuck your chin here. All right, and then coming forward again. Again, extending the ears away from the shoulders. A little tuck of the chin. All right, let's slide the left foot to the right side of the mat. Bring the knee down in a place that is comfortable for your knee. And we'll do that pigeon pose. Now on the other side, same thing. Walking our hands toward, if you've got some options here, and I want to make it clear that there's not one way to do this, but You know, probably the easier option is to come onto your elbows like this and just kind of relax here. That's a totally fine option. Another one is to walk the hands by the hips and opening up the front of the chest. So either way is fine. If you want to experiment with releasing the hands, clasp them around the back, opening up the ribs. All right, and let's come back onto all fours. You don't want to stay there too long. And then transition to down dog. All right, go ahead and have a seat then. Let's see how you're feeling. See the results of this so far. See how your legs are feeling, if there's any change there. Now let's start to take care of our neck and upper back. This is something that really hits us hard when we're doing Zazen for long periods of time. Those neck muscles, those shoulder muscles may get nice and tight and sore. So let's drop the chin towards the sternum and feel that pulling in the back of the neck with just the dropping. So we're keeping the back upright. We're dropping the chin down towards the sternum. So the weight of your head is causing the pull in your neck, not by any effort of your own. And just kind of resting it there for maybe 5 or 10 more seconds. And then gently lifting your chin towards one shoulder, turning your head right as far as it'll go. You feel that pull in the side of the neck. Just by turning the head. Right, and then coming back down, slowly. Feel that stretch as your chin drops towards the sternum. Let it rest there for a few moments. And then slowly bringing it up to the other shoulder. And again, feel that pull in the side of the neck. Just go as far as you feel comfortable going. As far as your neck will allow before it says, no, you're not going anymore. Okay, and let's do that one more time. Back down. Just take your time, feel the pull in the neck as your chin approaches your sternum. And back up to the other shoulder. And back down. And up. You can speed it up a little bit if you want to. Or keep it at a slow pace. We're just kind of making a U shape with our chin. Right, you might feel those muscles in your neck and your upper back pulling a little bit as we do this. All right, let's bring the chin all the way up around, like lifting it up towards the ceiling, from the shoulders, so we're lifting up, getting the front of the neck stretching. Take it slow, coming up, and then around to the other shoulder, and then back up. All right, so we're making a U shape now from the other half of the circle. Right, just rounding like that. Going at a faster pace if you wish. All right, and then back to center when you're ready. See how that feels? You know, the neck is very tricky. It's hard to gauge it sometimes on what we need to do there. But so take a pause and see how it's feeling, if it's better or worse, or nothing's changed at all. Here's another thing we can do for our neck, and just take one hand and place it on the opposite side of our head, and then gently draw the ear towards the shoulder. Right, just real gentle, and you'll feel a pull in the side of the neck a little bit. You don't have to push hard at all here. Drawing that ear down towards the shoulder. Right, and then releasing, and try the other side. Just keep the back upright. I've learned that I've got arthritis in my neck and shoulders. The past few months ago I learned that. And it was helpful to come to that realization, because then I realized I gotta move my neck more. And so I upped the amount of time I've been swimming, and that has helped considerably in reducing the inflammation caused by arthritis. So finding exercises to move the neck can be really helpful. Let's try just continue to turn the chin from shoulder to shoulder. Right, you can slow the pace down or pick the pace up depending on what you're needing. Just get a sense of the mobility in your neck. Muscle soreness, we have to be able to distinguish between sore muscles versus inflamed joints. There's a big difference there. And if it's a sore muscle, it's nothing to be really too concerned about. It'll go away, and stretching will definitely help. If it's a joint issue, there may be other mobility issues arising there that you may need to get checked out. I've been to an acupuncture doctor, and it was very, very effective in working through neck pain and shoulder pain. And that was just a month or so ago. I had treatment there from an acupuncture. So I don't know if there's any acupuncture doctors near you, but maybe someone to check out. All right, let's come back to center and transition to standing. And just stretch your legs out. And make your way to stand. And do some more things for the back and the legs. The first one is this roll up. So we start out by having the hands on the thighs and sliding them down towards the ankles. All right. Just kind of keeping the chin tucked here a little bit, bending the knees a little bit. Rounding the back on purpose, letting the whole upper body relax. And so our arms are totally limp, like Raggedy Ann dolls. Just let them hang, don't try to hold on to anything. Take a few breaths here. And then now let's roll on up to stand. Just breaking up anything that's stuck there in our body, in our back, and using the weight of the arms pull on those muscles in our upper back, using the weight of the head to pull on those muscles in the neck and upper back. And then coming up to stand.
And we'll do that several times. Let's do that 2 more times, going from the forward position. And you can do this as slow as you want. Like, so as you're rising up, if you find a place here that would benefit from just pausing, you can just hang out there a little bit longer. Right? If there's a really tight, stuck place, just maybe hang out there a little longer, move a little slower through it, so that gives the muscle a chance to release. And then when you're ready to go to the next one, feel free to go ahead. But really listen to what's going on in the body, and when you find a tight space, stay there for a little bit. See if taking 3 or 4 breaths, or maybe more, doesn't help those muscles to release a little bit. All right. So let's just do one more of these. Start out, just really make sure the arms are loose, the back is loose, and then we slowly straighten up, pausing wherever there is a tight spot that you come up against. Keeping the chin relatively tucked. Alright, once we come up to standing, then that was the last one for the forward ones. Now we can go to the left and right sides. So what we do here is turn the torso, arms stay limp, bend the knees, and bring the hands down to one side of the body. So we're stretching kind of the side of the back a little bit more, one side over the other. And then again, slowly creeping your way up. Make sure you relax the shoulders here and the neck as you come up. Just getting at it from a different angle. Focusing on one side. Again, if you find a tight spot, maybe hang out there for a few breaths. Let the weight of your head and arms just kind of pull on those muscles a little bit. And last thing, see my head is kind of tilted to one side, so I'm getting a side stretch to the neck. And then up. Take a moment to pause when you're up and see how this is affecting your back. Like I said, I have some arthritis, so even after doing that, I still feel a little pain there. So we need to assess whether it's a muscle issue or a bone issue. Muscle issue is a little bit easier to take care of. All right, let's try the other side then, and just balance that out, turning the trunk to the other side. Hands coming down. Bending the knees. Letting the arms relax. Head, neck soft. Take a few breaths while your hands are close to the floor before starting up. And those big breaths into your back help to expand the back a little bit. Release some of the tension. All right, and then come and start to make your way back up. get that head to the side, cock to the side a little bit, just letting it hang there, still letting the arms hang, and then slowly making it up to stand. Now, another thing I'm just thinking of, if you're still finding some considerable tightness there, you may want to use some kind of a cream. Like I like BioFreeze. It has the menthol in it, and it has some arnica montana in it, and it helps to relax those muscles that have been, if you've been overusing them, it can help with that. So BioFreeze or capsaicin oil, cream, that stuff too is good. That heats up the muscle, so you can try that. Try those creams out in the neck and in the shoulders and the upper back. Could be helpful. All right, let's go around to the other side again. This one down and back up. I'm just going to do these a little faster. It's like those dolls, you know, like those at the used car lot. They have those inflatable guys that they deflate and then they come back up. That's kind of like what we're doing here. We're going through the deflate mode and then kind of coming back up, like you got air putting in your body. You get it coming back up. Let's try the other side. Ready? So we're doing this a little faster. And sometimes the fast is not bad either, right? Sometimes faster is better. Sometimes slower is better. Sometimes faster is better. So you can't always. You got to try them both out. Try different speeds out to know for ourselves what works. All right. So we've done some things for our neck, shoulders. Let's roll the shoulders back several times. All right. Doesn't that feel good? So roll the shoulders back. You can roll them forward a few times. And a nice one I'd like to do is clasping the hands behind the back and squeezing these shoulders together, lifting the chin up to open the ribs. A lot of times when we have, a lot of times when we have that tightness across the ribs, when we have tightness in the back, it's because the shoulders, we don't give them a chance to open out. So let's extend the arms out of the way and get them in alignment with our ears, or even a little bit behind the ears. And just to open up that there's this whole muscle line that extends from the palm throughout the chest and then over to the other side. I'm going to open that up, keep that open. There's such a strong habit energy in our culture to do this. This is an exaggeration, but this is often where we're at. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to reverse it and turn the palms up. I'm going to open the chest, open the ribs. Breathe. All right, let's let the arms rest a moment. All right. Get a sense of your neck here, just real loose, rocking the neck forward and backward a little bit. Looking left and right a few times, just see if it's loosened up any since we started. Maybe a little half circle. All right, good. Hopefully that's helped a little bit. All right, let's see how much time we've got here. Yeah, just a few more minutes. Let's do one more standing practice here. This is a Tai Chi warm-up exercise that I learned a while ago that I found real helpful for just getting the back mobile. And that is to swing the arms and bounce the knees. This is it feels so great. It's the chi in the body, moving the energy. Now, I want to make sure we're swinging our arms back in such a way that the shoulders are happy with it. All right, we want to stretch the muscles in the shoulders, not the ligaments.
or just swinging them back like you're going downhill skiing, right? You got your poles in your hand and you're pushing yourself off the mountain, but you just keep doing it. Bouncing the knees. It helps that balance is also real nice on the low back. Open, keeps the chest open. All right, good. Let's shake out the hands a little bit. Another one we want to do is another Tai Chi warm up. Getting the knees a little bit wider, and we're gonna turn the trunk. The arms are like a Raggedy Ann doll. This is just a wonderful one for all that tension in the back. That's creeps up on us from all this heavy sitting. So just turn the arms like a Raggedy Ann doll. And let the shoulders relax here. Now here's the one where you can stretch the neck by looking forward. If you turn your torso with your head, like I'm doing right now, notice that the neck is not going to get stretched. Right? As I'm doing this right now, my neck is not getting stretched. But if I look forward, my neck's also going to get a nice stretch here. So, you can try those two ways out. And notice also I'm bending one knee slightly and straightening the other. And I'm just going, kind of bouncing back and forth between those two sides of the body. And you can make your legs wider here, make it a more pronounced bend in the knee if you want to, or less pronounced. It's real nice. May be helpful if you're looking straight ahead to look down at the ground. That can help keep you centered. All right, good. All right, so that gives you some nice exercise that I think, some movement, help get the energy flowing back through the body like you want it to. Let's end on the floor, on the mat, on our back, and just kind of take in what we've done so far. See how the body's responding to it. And giving yourself a little rest. Find a comfortable spot. Let your back meet the ground, and notice how any internal shifts you feel as a result of this movement. Now, allow yourself to feel rest if that's there. Feel free to have your eyes closed and really come into your body. I emphasize that a lot, this body awareness, so important. Just be in your body, feel pleasure. Feel the pleasure of the body. And you can do a scan here, just kind of scanning through different parts of your body. If there's anything you feel that's tight, still, you can just mentally see if you can let that go or soften the muscle group around that area. I want to close our class here, so let's stretch the arms out and then roll to one side. Make our way up to a seat. And I want to encourage you, you know, this next sitting, you might need a little extra rest. If you need to lay down, if you need to do zazen laying on your back, that's totally fine by me. I'd encourage you to do so. All right? Let's dedicate this yoga class for the well-being of all beings. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. All right, thank you. All right, guys, let's keep at it.